Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining this seminar, Building Faith, how we can build resilience, remove doubts from our heart, and come closer to Krishna. So before we begin, let's offer our obeisances to Srimad Bhagavatam. We will be praying to Sanatan Goswami, Vyasadev, Shukadev Goswami, and to all the Vaishnavas to grant us the openness, the willingness, the intelligence to imbibe these instructions in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you like, you can join me in reciting this. You can keep your microphones muted, but we can recite this. Sarvashastrabdi piyusha sarvavedaika satphala sarvasiddhantaratnadhya sarvalokaika drikprada sarvabhagavata prana Srimad Prabho Kalidvantodhitaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramanandapataya Premavarshaksharaayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume Madeka Bando Matsangi Madguru Manmahadana Manishtaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Asadhu Sadhuta Dayin Ati Nichochata Kara Hana Muncha Kadachinma Prema Hritkanthayospura. Aishwarya, would you like to read the translation, please?
Yes, Mataji. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all people of the world, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel darkness of Kali Yuga. You are actually Krishna who has returned among us. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss. For your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You are always served by everyone, for you are an incarnation of Krishna. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintlessness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please do not ever leave me. Please become manifested upon my heart and my throat, accompanied by pure love.
Jai. Wow, we are very fortunate that we have access to Srimad Bhagavatam, the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's dive into the storyline. So the storyline is, let me just put up the PowerPoint, and then let's start with the storyline. I give you a little brief why I'm doing this seminar. I started studying Bhaktivedanta, and it's churning a lot of things in my heart, especially this topic of faith. And then we all did our 12 steps, and that also came into integration. And if you saw the handout that I sent you, I sent you the handout integrating this 7th canto, 1st chapter, especially this Parikshit Maharaj's questions, Yudhishthir Maharaj's asking, why is the Lord always siding with the demigods? Isn't he supposed to be kind and equal to everybody? So that whole thing opens up this thing of doubts in our heart. So in the image here, you can see, the image here, you can see how the doubts are like knots that trap us, that keep us bound. So once we become free from doubts, then we can soar in Krishna consciousness. So sometimes we are doing sadhana, we are attending Bhagavatam class, we're doing things, but at the same time, the doubt in our heart is like a cancer. It's like a disease which is holding us back. So as I'm doing the course, I'm also like writing poetry as realizations come on the topic. So just to give you a little brief, so after Parikshit starts inquiring and then Shukadeva Goswami answers. So in this slide here, I have in the poetic format what happens. In Parikshit's heart, a question rose. Why the Lord's love unequally flows? To Prahlad, mercy. To Hiranyakashipu, wrath. Does justice not guide the Lord's holy path? This is just a summary of when Parikshit starts wondering, right? Like, why does he always kill the demons? And why does he always favor the demigods? And why isn't he supposed to be equal and dear and friendly to everybody? So, is the Lord partial or not? Okay, so that's like the first question that comes up. And of course, Shukadeva Goswami's response to Parikshit Maharaj, he starts saying, wait a minute, before we answer the question, is he partial, is he not partial? Because, first of all, when Yudhishthira starts asking, why is he always siding with the demigods? And then, this chapter, the whole 7th canto chapter starts with Prahlad. So you see, Parikshit is asking, but Prahlad, right? Prahlad, it's proved by Krishna that Prahlad is a demon, right? He's a son of Hiranyakashipu, born in a demoniac family. But Krishna is proving that he's not partial because he's born in a demoniac family, but he's favoring Prahlad. So the whole thing, it gives us the introspective vision to see, look at our own lives also. We may see other people around and say, this is not fair. What they did to me is not fair. Or what they are given and I'm not given is not fair, right? These are very fair or like normal, natural questions that arise in our hearts. So today we will go a little bit into what do we do with those doubts? How do we answer them? So what Shukadeva Goswami told Parikshit, this is just a poetic format, but we'll get more into it. The Lord said, Shukadeva transcends all ties. No partiality clouds his eternal skies. Beyond the modes, pure and sublime, his actions align with no worldly climb. See, this is super important. The Lord has nothing to lose, right? He is the Supreme Lord. He doesn't need to be political. Even without any elections, he's always a Supreme Lord without any elections. And there's no anxiety. Is Krishna going to win this time? Is he going to come into power? Is he going to take the office? There is no such dilemma here because he's always the ever elected, eternal Supreme Lord of the universe. So Shukadeva Goswami is answer includes so many angles about Bhagavan, who is a Supreme Lord, Bhagavata, what is the Bhagavata, what is Bhakti, how do we actually integrate understanding the Lord and understanding the philosophy, the conclusions of what the Lord does, why the Lord does certain things in our life, why our karmic providence, right? Prahlad Maharaj brings up later in the chapter about providence, how Krishna is controller of all the modes. He knows past, present, and future. And he doesn't have to fear anybody. He is beyond the modes. He's beyond Sattva Guna, Rajas Guna, and Tamas Guna. So he cannot be partial. He just cannot be partial. So this chapter gets into that, like, oh, he cannot be. Then Yudhishthira asks Narada, I have a poetry for that as well. When he starts asking, I need to stop sharing this to get to that. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj, right, the whole Rajasuya sacrifice and everything happens. By the way, for those of you interested, I love learning through music. So I started to take these poetry that I write and I put it in AI in one of the softwares. And it makes it into a song. So using AI music, I'm turning all the poetry into songs. That's why I'm not live streaming this. I'm just recording this, because when I'm going to share the song on the screen, because it's a YouTube video, it will not let us. It won't let it stay there. So I'm just going to play the song of I'm going to stop recording here. All right, so that was a song about Lord's equal vision and the whole philosophical unfolding that Srila Prabhupada brings up in the purport of those verses. And I want to do a little personal reflection here. What's the personal reflection here? So, if our perception is duality, right? Friends, enemies, and our perception is good, bad. Our perception is demons, demigods. Krishna's perception is different. So let's do a little exercise. So I'm gonna it'll be nice if all of us have time to. So I'm gonna put you in a group, three of you, 1, 2, 3, like that. Just share about your understanding in your own personal life about the Lord being partial or not being partial, and how you had certain doubts, and are they resolved? Are there some doubts that are still lingering in you? Whatever comes up for you. Maybe take a minute. Each of you can take a minute, just express whatever comes to you with the song that you just heard and this whole storyline of Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami. And then, of course, Yudhishthir, we are coming next. But before that, okay, any questions? Any questions before we get into our rooms in the sharing rooms? Again, we would have to pause the recording here because we're going to do a group work. Do you have any question? If you have any question, we can always type it in the chat box or comments also. So Rajeshwari Radhika Mataji says, one thing that we're not grateful. Yeah, that gratitude can also be compared to the water, right? If the water is clean, it means the grateful heart. If the water is not clean, then we always want more and more and more, like Hiranyakashipu. He wanted more and more and more. It was never satisfied with what he had. Okay, so the lessons in our personal life about seeing everybody equally, then we do not see, oh, why did this person try to do this to me? Or, oh, this person has so much money I don't have, and why is the Lord giving that person money and not me? So all these things are based on external reality, external circumstances. Then second lesson we can learn is that in order to experience it, like Rajeshwari Radhika is saying, gratitude. If I surrender my life according to the will of the Lord, if I align my life, align my heart to the divine's will, naturally there will be gratitude. So that the focus should be on the doubt is, what is the doubt? The doubt is, why is the Lord putting me through this difficulty? And the answer to that is, if I'm aligned to see the Lord's grace, it's actually for the best. So that brings a third point, the attitudes that shapes our experience. If I'm grateful and I understand that my mindset is that of the Lord has a best plan for me, and then he's not partial, he's not giving something to somebody just like that because that day he woke up at the one side of the bed. He's giving it because that person deserves it. I often experience this. I've experienced all throughout my life. Why does that person get more, whatever it is, influence? Why is that person more pretty, more beautiful? Why is this person look happier than me? Why does this person have more views on their channel? Why this person cooks better than me? Right? All these questions always comes up with human mind. Why does that person have something that I don't have? So then this is the answer. This chapter reveals the attitude shapes our experience. So if I'm constantly thinking why I don't have what that other person has, then I'm missing out on what I have. I'm missing out on that gratitude, and I'm missing out on seeing that the Lord has a plan to make me the best version of myself. Yesterday, my friend and I were discussing the point about our struggles. Like we usually, right, like-minded individuals can resonate with the different struggles that we have. And so we were discussing about the struggles, and I was talking about one of our teachers, and I said, I don't think this teacher has any of this problem in all life. This person didn't have this problem. And my friend is like, yeah, maybe not exactly our problem, but they have other set of problems, something else. So all of us are overcoming the challenges. So Prahlad Maharaj is using that example that even amidst adversities, we can actually see, oh, what is it in that person? Like jealousy. Let me take jealousy. If I'm jealous of somebody, if I look at it from a very microscopic view and say, oh, let's say I'm jealous of somebody who can recite better shlokas. I take that. Okay. I'm feeling, and every time I see that person, something happens within my body, in my mind. And then, like, oh, there's a, oh, what is going on? So if I question that, if I address that part of the jealous part of me, and then I ask, why? What is it that you exactly feel? If I'm honest, then the question will come up. I'm jealous. I'm jealous about this person. Okay, why are you jealous? I'm jealous because this person has the ability to do something that I would like to do. And it's difficult for me. So there's an emotion of dissatisfaction, jealousy. But at the same time, the truth is, behind jealousy, there's always appreciation. Always, always. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj brings up in the later on in the fifth chapter. He brings up. Today we're going deep into first chapter. So jealousy, right? When I'm focusing on, I don't like that this person has this and I don't have it. Of course, there is a difference between jealousy and envy. Okay, jealousy is when I think, oh, what this person has is so cool, I'd like to have it. But envy means this person has something I don't have, and I don't want that person to have it. So envious is more harmful, right? It's more harmful. Of course, in the first chapter, later on, after the 13th verse and all, after Yudhishthir Maharaj is, the whole conversation comes up. How Yudhishthir was asking Narad Muni similar questions that Parikshit asks Sukadev Goswami. So Sukadev Goswami quotes Yudhishthir Maharaj and says how Yudhishthir asks, this is verses 16 to 21 in the first canto. So Yudhishthir asks Narada, how is it possible then, if envy is so dangerous, how is it possible then that somebody so envious, like who? Oh, I have the sometimes I start getting into the talk and then I forget to share the screen. So let me share the screen. I also see something in the chat box. If you can unmute and say, please, what was that? Pankaj Radha, if you're able to, can you read what you just wrote in the chat box, or somebody else can read if she's not able to read it? Because I'm just going to show the PowerPoint because I'm forgetting to show the screen here. Okay, this picture here. Somebody can read what Pankaj Radha wrote, please.
Yes, Mataji. So during difficult times, when I come into situations, of course, I'm not happy, but I feel it is all because of my previous karma. And what I learned from you is it's a test. Krishna wants me to learn something from the situation.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Krishna wants us to learn something from that situation. If we can have that mentality, whoa, we will progress tremendously. That's why Sangha is so important, who we associate with, who we listen to. Then some people, they remain as part of the problem. Unless you are Dantavakra, Shishupala, somebody super demon that was cursed, and you have superpowers that you are envy for the Lord, which Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, how is it possible that Shishupala in the assembly, in front of everyone, he kept insulting Krishna, he kept insulting Krishna, he kept insulting Krishna. And even after 100 offenses, when Krishna beheaded him with his Sudarshan chakra, Shishupala entered into the body of Krishna. So he attained Sayujya Mukti. Sayujya Mukti is like entering into the body of the Lord, the Supreme Lord, who we just read is transcendental, is full of bliss, Sachidananda. So Yudhishthir is like very perplexed, This envy is supposed to be so dangerous. And how is it possible that his body, Shishupal, after being beheaded, merged into Krishna? Also, Dantavakra, how is it possible that these very sinful personalities, how did they get liberated? Right? This question comes up. So, in comparison with in comparison, thank you very much, Pankaj Jarada. So that leads us to the next section of our talk today. So here we see in this photo is Dantavakra and Shishupala. So they were very envious of the Lord, very, very envious. So we may have this question, hey, you're just telling me that envy is really bad. But then in this case, envy was the best thing for them because they got liberated by Krishna. So let's see what are the points there. So what Narada Muni tells is very interesting. In fact, at one point Narada Muni says, he says, you know what? It's better to hate the Lord than to be neutral. It's like, what? Yes. And this is also something that I've been personally reflecting. Oh my God, what does that mean? It means like either you be a super demon, which is very, very difficult, not to be a super demon is very difficult, or we become really sincere, really dedicated, really desperate devotees. Because if we are in the middle, not here, na ghar ka, na bahar ka. What is it? Well, there's an expression in Hindi. Kya hai wo? Pankirada, what's that? What's that?
घर का ना घाट का.
हाँ, ना घर का ना घाट का हो जाएंगे. So we will be like not in spiritual, not in material. We will not be as envious and strong and demoniac like Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala. And nor will we be dedicated like Prahlad and Parikshit Maharaj. So the risk is there. So Narad Muni actually brings up this point in the first chapter saying, actually, it's better to be very envious and very hate the Lord. And then the example comes up about Maharaj Vena. So Maharaj Vena, again, I put off the screen. Or am I sharing the screen? Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Okay. So Maharaj Vena, the difference, this chapter brings up the difference between Maharaj Vena and Shishupala. This is very relevant for us, for our personal reflection and introspection. So Maharaj Vena was bad, really bad. He would kill brahmanas, he would offend, he would abuse children, he would do all kinds of sins and atrocities possible and imaginable. He would offend the brahmanas, he would misuse all his power, all his wealth. So Maharaj Vena was a nuisance, total nuisance to the whole kingdom. It was a shame like that. So that can be compared to our anarthas, I'm thinking, our anarthas of wanting to enjoy separately from Krishna, not wanting to offer bhoga. What are all the things? Hari nirmalya shiradhali dhari sushri hari naivedya bunji sutiru nitya haralu irulu hagalu hari smaraneya bidadiru durulara kudadiru. So these are the principles of how we can advance, right? There is a nivritti and pravritti. What are the things that we should not do? Right, like in four regulative principles in when we take initiation, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Three nivrittis we don't do. And there's one thing that we should do. What is it? Chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. So in every situation, there's something we should not do and something we should do. So Vena was a perfect example of somebody who would do what you should not do and not do what you should do. So really, really fixed on that principle. And then what was the other one? Yeah, in our case, our acharyas say we should, the senses, the tongue, the genitals, all the senses, the nose, the nostrils, the ear. The ear wants to hear something really pleasant and enjoyable. The tongue wants to taste something delicious. The nose wants to smell fragrant things. The eyes want to see something beautiful. And the body wants to experience pleasure. So all these natural activities of the body, when we engage it without Krishna, and we do it only for ourselves, we only do it for ourselves, I enjoy, but no, I don't. I eat, let's say I eat food that it's not offered to Krishna. No, I'm thinking of Unni right now, Prema Rupa Madhavi. Prema Rupa Madhavi lives in Portland, and she has her childhood deity with her, and the dedication with which she's always taking his name. Krishna, she has a little Krishna. His name is Unni. So it's so real. It's so touching, that devotion and that attachment. And then that's like the opposite, right? Of like here, Vena or whoever. Everything she is doing, everything she's thinking of and enjoying, first she's offering it to the Lord. Oh, this is for Krishna's enjoyment, and then what I experience is the maha of it. So that's the mentality for a devotee, right? And on the other hand, there is Shishupala, who was consistently abusive and super focused on Krishna. So Narada Muni answers Yudhishthira Maharaj, wait a minute, there's a big difference between Shishupal and Vena. King Vena, there was no Krishna here. There is no Krishna. There is only abuse and abuse. There is no concept of focus on the Lord. And I'm remembering Bhakti Tirtha Swami. There was a class one time, and there was a young lady who attended the class, and she said, your preaching has converted my mother, my sister, everybody into Krishna consciousness. You will never get me. So she was so intense in her allergy or the hatred towards Krishna, so much, so focused. Because of Krishna consciousness, they become like, because of Krishna, they do this. Because of Krishna. So she was so constantly absorbed, Krishna, 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 Krishna. One day, you can imagine what happened to her. She became disciple of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. She came back. And Maharaj said, when he looked at her, he said, when people are indifferent, they don't care. They don't care. Yeah, whatever they do, they try to enjoy, but they don't care. But if we're constantly thinking, oh, what about Krishna? Even in a negative way, right? If we're thinking, my wife always wants to offer the food to Krishna, my child wants to, or my husband was always thinking of Krishna, why is he always thinking of Krishna and not me? So if even that intensity is there, Krishna will get us. So Bhakti Tirtha Swami told this lady, I will get you. One day you will come, because you have such intense hatred towards Krishna. You have such intense emotion against Krishna that you will come. So this is something for us to take a look. What is my intensity of thinking about Krishna? Again, personal reflection. Sometimes when I haven't done all the things that I need to do during the day, there is guilt. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't please my Guru Maharaj by doing my service. So there's a constant emotion of guilt. They're always feeling, oh, I didn't do this for Krishna, and I'm feeling guilty. And I'm feeling guilty to go to the temple. I'm feeling guilty to maybe watch the class of my Guru Maharaj that day if I haven't been a good girl. But then over the years, I realized that is like the going away from Krishna. But to come closer to Krishna, I must use that same emotion, whether it is of guilt, whether it's of fear, whether it's of lamentation, whether it's of depression or sadness, doesn't matter what's the emotion. If I can use that emotion and come more towards Krishna. So then what I started doing, whenever I felt this emotion of, let's say, sadness, and I'm feeling sad that something that's happening to me is not fair and I don't like it, and I go to the Lord with that sadness, and I'm sad. Krishna, I'm feeling so sad today. Shri Radha Madhava, I'm feeling so sad because this is happening. So expressing to the Lord through that emotion, connecting to the Lord. So that's what I learned from this chapter, this principle in Srimad Bhagavatam, that intensity of emotion is better than being non-different. So when we are feeling strange, when we are feeling guilty, when we are feeling angry, better to you take that emotion and offer it to the Lord and approach the Lord with that emotion to connect with Him rather than withdrawing and going away. Because going away is like Vena, gone, go into the deep black hole of hellish existence and over, game over. But whereas Shishupal, he was so abusive, he was so attached to the hatred of Krishna, that he wasn't enjoying anything in his life. There was no separately enjoying from Krishna. He was constantly, intensely focused on offending Krishna. So let me see the time here. What time is it? Okay. I think I should go there. This picture I already showed you how to transform that emotion that we might have, whatever the negative emotion might be. Positive emotions are also sometimes obstacles, because when we're feeling positive, we're indifferent to Krishna. Oh, everything is going according to my plan. But when things don't go according to my plan and I'm feeling terrible, I'm feeling guilty, I'm feeling ashamed, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling uncertain, these emotions can actually transform us to break free from this conception of me, mine, which is stuck in energy, and then release us to go more towards Krishna with whatever emotion it is. So then I want to bring up this beautiful analogy with a beautiful song, beautiful AI-based music song. I wrote the song, but AI made the music. So I'm going to share this song with you. I'll have to stop the recording because then again we can't. So in 12 steps of recovery, faith is a very important factor. Faith is the cornerstone of our 12 steps. Oh, Hare Krishna, Nathan Prabhu, I say 12 steps and I see him. Hare Krishna, nice to have you join us.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Haribol.
Very well. Okay, so 12 steps of recovery. This chapter, it's very connected, intrinsically connected with this element of how the faith, which is a cornerstone in our spiritual recovery. This chapter gives a lot of profound insights about that, how overcoming those self-doubts, overcoming those helplessness and the powerlessness, and understanding that Krishna is there for me. I can't do it. I cannot. But having the faith that Krishna can. Even my addiction, even my weaknesses, even my struggles, even my anarthas and the all kinds of nonsense struggles that I go through can actually have a root and a purpose in a transcendental way. And that comes later also in the chapters, later on the second, third chapter of seventh canto. This comes up more, and also fourth canto. Like the Krishna always has a plan. Krishna always has there is a divine purpose behind why every demon is acting in a certain way. So there's the divine purpose behind our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, and understanding that Krishna is beyond the modes. So he doesn't have these struggles. He's sun. He can shine through. And I just need to let Krishna's sun reflect on my inner attitudes. And even if I have weaknesses, I go to Krishna with that weakness, with the desperateness, and ask him, beg him to purify my heart, to strengthen my faith. Just like Prahlad Maharaj did, unwavering faith, despite hostility, despite atrocities, despite abuse of the father upon him. That illustrates the power of faith. Having faith that Krishna has got my back. Yes, I'm struggling. Yes, today has been a tough day. But that little seed, Bhakti Lata Bija, little seed of devotion can sprout in our heart. That's why there's a contrast between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad, right? Both are intensely focused on Krishna. Hiranyakashipu is intensely focused on Krishna in enmity, and Prahlad is intensely focused on Krishna with surrender and devotion. Like I said, Narada Muni says it's better to be a great demon than being just an ordinary devotee. So, but it's almost impossible, because if we look at the stories of these demons, these were really great devotees who are cursed. So we don't want to take that path. We want to be favorably developing faith in the Lord in a favorable manner, not intensity and focus in an unfavorable manner. So faith begins with that acknowledgement that Krishna has the control. Krishna is impartial. Krishna can take my weaknesses. Krishna loves me the way I am, but Krishna loves me too much to let me be the way I am. That's the essence of 12 steps of recovery in integration with this lesson, with this chapter of Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj is telling us, turn your lives around. Go to the forest, Vrindavan. Vanam gata yad dharimashrayeta. He's telling his father, the abusive father. He's saying, look, don't just give yourself into this anger and greed and envy, Go to the forest. Go to the forest. So in our case, going to the forest means doing the 12-step program. That's going to the forest. because as long as I think I know how to take care of my life, then there is no surrender, there is no desperation. So, but when we do the self-reflection in continued self-reflection every day, where am I going wrong? Promptly admitting it, giving it to the Krishna, even if I'm struggling, giving it to Krishna, sharing our experience, developing deeper trust. That's the path forward. Then that's divine justice. So the problem, how do you say? The problem is not the problem. The problem is when we don't do anything about it. And if we want to remain as part of the problem, or we want to remain as part of the solution. So I want to share that song about the focus. I just love this song. This is also, let me pause. I keep forgetting to turn on the recording. So yeah, Yudhishthir Maharaj asks, how is it possible that these great souls were cursed and how did they come down? So it's like we could ask that question. Why do I have these weaknesses? I want to be Krishna conscious. Why all these difficulties keep coming to me? And then Narada explains the whole story of Jaya and Vijaya. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj gets really curious and he says like, oh, he was born as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and he tried to kill his own son. And how does that work? And then that whole chapter turns to more story about Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. We'll study that tomorrow. But for today, we have few minutes left. We can pause here. The essence of today's topic is Krishna is transcendental. Krishna is beyond the modes. Krishna has all control. He can restore us to sanity. He can put us on the right path. He can heal us. He can cure us. He does not, he's like sun. The sun does not discriminate. This is dirty. This is clean. Sunshine falls everywhere. So if sunshine falls on the stool of a dog on the street, it falls on everything and it purifies it. So the mercy of the Lord is like that. He is impartial. So Parikshit Maharaj's question to Shukadeva Goswami about partiality, we need to understand whatever is happening with us is fair because the Lord wants us to learn something, just like Pankaja Radha was sharing, Rajeshwari Radhika was saying, gratitude. Gratitude is the key for us to embrace these dualities. And the duality is because of our muddy water, because the sun is going to shine. But if my water is muddy, it is difficult. Okay, so that's the conclusion for today's topic. There's so much rich content, and I'm trying to cover the whole chapter here, but any questions, any comments?
Mataji, I've shared my question in the chat, so I'll quickly repeat it also. So sometimes when difficult times come up, I feel will praying change things, will praying make things better, but I want immediate relief. I want relief from the pain that that I'm that I'm like suffering from. And it just feels like it's endless pain, and it's not getting better, and in that way I lose my faith sometimes.
Yeah, I can relate to your question very much. That also is actually answered. I think it's in the third. Let me just show that screen here. That question gets answered in the third chapter, actually, very, very beautifully. Third chapter, because Hiranyakashipu's planned to become immortal, right? He did austerities, by the way, very, very severe austerities. But what was his goal? His goal of doing austerities was he wanted to become the supreme God. He wanted to become God. So he did his austerities, very severe austerities. So we can compare with, if I do this, will I get this? So that's like a little bit of, I'm just saying in general. Hiranyakashipu's mentality was like, I'll do this because I want something. So what was his desires? His desire was unconquerable, free from old age, deathless, without rival. That was his goal. Why he wanted to pray? He wanted these things. He wanted power. Then he did all these austerities. He went up on the Mandara. He stood one toe, keeping his arms upwards, looking toward the sky. At one point, fire emanated from him. So all that happened, right? Now, Whereas the demigods, when they ask the Lord, this is the duality Narad Muni starts to explain about how the mentality of the demon is they want something in return. But the mentality of the devotee is always, I want to stay in touch with Krishna because he is my master, he is my everything. With him is sanity, with him is peace, with him is love. Without him is suffering, it's struggle. So the mentality of devotee is we go with a humble attitude and say, Krishna, your will and not mine be done. Okay, so that gets in this whole chapter gets into it. If you we will do it on the third day, the day after tomorrow we'll get to that third and fourth chapter we will cover and get more into this, how to pray in a way where, because it's hard, the water is muddy, right? My heart is contaminated by material desires. I want validation, I want acceptance, I want belonging, I have many trapped emotions from childhood, unfulfilled desires. I want all of them met. So then I look up to the Lord and I want that Lord to fulfill what my parents didn't do, what my teachers couldn't do, what my mentors couldn't do, what my friends couldn't do. That's what we usually do with our partners. When we find the partner, we put all the burden on the partner. We want that partner to fulfill our needs. So similarly, we think, oh, right now somebody is telling me, you're suffering, my dear soul, spirit soul, Jiva Jago. Take shelter of Gaurachandra, take shelter of Krishna. And we say, wait a minute, what's in it for me? Why should I do it? Is my suffering going to go away? And Narada Muni answers, yes. So Aishwarya, one word answer to your question is yes. Krishna can mitigate miseries in a moment, in a second. But at the same time, the fourth and the later, third, fourth, fifth chapter is the culmination, the gem of the answer to your question. You need to wait to unpack you need to wait to see the emotional unpacking that happens in this canto. But the general answer is yes, it is possible that Krishna can mitigate all our miseries in a split second. At the same time, the couple of chapter explains what mentality do we need to have in order for that to happen. Okay, so it is possible. And then Prahlad Maharaj later on gets more into why we are suffering. Why we are suffering. We need to understand that. When we think I, me, and mine, suffering comes. Nanu nannadu emba narakadolage biddu. Naraka means hell. So the hell is not a geographical location, it's the mentality. So the mentality of I, me, mine makes us get stuck. So this Bhagavatam is for the people who are non-envious in the heart. So if with a little bit of that good association, non-envious attitude, we can reach that point. So in one word, the answer is yes, the prayers will work. Yes, if we take shelter of the Lord, he understands that nobody can understand as he can understand that way. Yes, things will change. At the same time, we need to do it the way that the Narada Muni and our other acharyas give us the way they give us the direction. Okay. Okay, I see more questions. Yeah, I like what you said, Aishwarya. I can relate so much that chains of my doubt that keeps me away from the Lord. I can relate to that struggle. I have to remind myself every day that I should take my struggles to the Lord. Even when I started, when I switched my journaling style, I started writing Krishna to Krishna. Dear Krishna, I'm experiencing this. Krishna, I'm feeling this, and I'm feeling so constantly keeping Krishna in the center of, regardless of the emotions. That's what brings us the solution. Otherwise, we keep going away from the Lord. And then, because nobody else can handle our negativity like Krishna can, because he's the sun who can dissipate. Okay, I see here Rajeshwari Radhika Mataji says becoming Dhira is very difficult. Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I should get a tattoo here, no, Dhira. Be still, be patient, be sober. Talking about 12 steps, sobriety is one of the let's say foundations. It's not the goal because focus is Krishna. Krishna is the goal. but sobriety can help us to reach Krishna. So sometimes we shouldn't say, I have to do this, 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 this. I have to be very sober. That's not the goal. I have to think of Krishna, even in my failures. That's the goal. And then, yes, being Sattva Guna definitely helps us to reach there. So sometimes I do wonder, I should always write a tattoo here. Be in connection, alignment to Krishna, be grounded, be sober, don't fly around with me and mine. In our Bhaktivedanta class, we were discussing about Guru Bogi. Guru Bogi. Guru Bogi is somebody, we come to Krishna consciousness, but I'm constantly thinking, how can I enjoy? How can I enjoy good kirtan? How can I enjoy good prasadam? How can I enjoy my guru's facilities? Or guru can be Prabhupada, guru can be our spiritual master. How can I enjoy? So that mentality has to go. That mentality has to be released, and more the mentality to align myself what for the best version that Krishna has in mind, what best version I can be. Dhira jana. And one more thing about dhira is this, right? It's not that the great devotees don't have vegam. Vegam means the impulse. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam. There are the impulses of anger, of lust, of greed. It's not that they don't have. It's just that they work on it. They take it to Krishna. They approach Krishna with those vegams. And then Krishna can mitigate them and transform them. That's the point. Tomorrow we'll get more into transformation. So we're not killing. Krishna doesn't kill he doesn't kill us, but he can kill the wickedness in us. Okay, then I see another question Ashka is asking. Thank you very much, everybody. You're very kind. You're saying that you're really enjoying this session. And I'm so glad you're learning something. Me too. I'm also learning every time I'm with this studying of Bhaktivedanta. My desire to want to share these things come up for me. That's the 12th step, sharing our experience. I'm very, very grateful to all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Rajeshwari Radhika. Thank you, Preeti Mataji. Thank you, Bhakti Laulyam. Bhakti Laulyam. Oh, thank you, Haribol. Thank you for coming. Yes, journaling sessions. We have a whole video about that as well, how to journal, taking shelter of Krishna. And I see Ashka has a question. When desire is not fulfilled, difficult for faith. Yes, absolutely. It's a good point. I think tomorrow I will take a note. Tomorrow we'll touch upon that. Unfulfilled desires, and oh, very nice, very nice. Narad Muni says more about that, and Hiranyakashipu's desires also come up there. Desires. Okay, tomorrow we will get into that because it's very difficult to answer that in a minute or two. Thank you, Ashka, for the question. And we have, yes, Pankaj Radha has a question. Go ahead, ask if you can. If it's short, otherwise maybe I'll take down and tomorrow we can address the questions.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Happy New Year to you all.
Amen.
So, Mataji, my question is, I go for service on Wednesday. Somehow, one or other, nowadays I have a company. So my Prabhu started coming with me for last 3 weeks. Braj Manjari Mataji is coming with me. She wants to serve, so she's coming. So I have a lot of help. But for some reason, I am not satisfied with my service because I don't know, because I think I'm not getting that kind of what do you call that meditation when I'm cooking by myself, thinking about Kala Chandi and cooking. So now I'm just getting distracted with everybody around me. So my question is this my selfishness that I want to do it by myself? Am I going in the wrong direction by if I ask everyone, no, I don't need help, or is it okay?
Actually, this is again very relevant topic for tomorrow. We'll take that up. Motivation, wanting to do service and expecting certain things and how to deal with that. That will be very relevant for tomorrow. So I've taken down both Ashka's and your question. We will get into that. See, Bhagavatam has the answer. It's just that we need to wear the lens in order to see the answers. So these are very relevant questions in one sense for our service. Why am I feeling dissatisfied? So tomorrow we'll touch about the desires and also the satisfaction part. I think
Thank you.
Rajashri, Hare Krishna. So Rajashri is saying, yes, sometimes we lose our focus during our hard times, but at those times only, if we have faith some way or other, Krishna comes to rescue us, sometimes through someone else. Yes, very good point. And losing that faith is also Krishna's plan. Sometimes he wants us to increase our eagerness. So it's a very Krishna is very tricky. He's very tricky. All right. So this was a 1 hour session. So we are 5 minutes over time already. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, you can send it in the group or send it to me personally so we can address it tomorrow. If you send it to me beforehand, then I can prepare, find references in Bhagavatam and answer those questions accordingly. So you can send me the questions ahead of time, or you can bring the questions to the class, and in the end we can discuss it more. And I promise to send you the playlist in the group so you can enjoy the music. It's so good. When you're driving or you're going somewhere, you listen to this, and it's like so purifying to remember these messages in a music format. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.